It's December, and that means Ask Dash. Let's get into another one. Hey yo, this is Dash, and today's video is going to be a little different. This is going to be an Ask Dash video for the Ask Dash 2022 series. This should be video number 16 if I've done my math correctly. But today, I'm not actually going to be responding to a question. I am going to read a comment and just kind of, I'm just going to read this comment. And at the end, I'll kind of tell you and talk about my thoughts about this comment. So, this comment comes from Danny. Danny, and I always think I'm saying this correctly in my head. It should be Danny Beauclair, Beauclair maybe? Beauclair. Anyway, Danny knows my government name, so he says, "Hi Scott. When I was trying to do a food trailer and doing costs, for example, the gallon cans of pork and beans to make smoked baked beans, I figured out how many fluid ounces the can had a product and figured out how many fluid ounces I was going to put in a 3-compartment styrofoam tray. Once I figured out, and I'm sorry, you guys have to apologize, I'm reading this. I read it once through already, and I'm like trying to go back and read it, so it's not like this is practiced. Anyway, once I figured out how many fluid ounces of beans I would put on it, I guess in it, I found a ladle on the internet of the closest ounces, like 3 or 4 ounces. This way, I can figure out how many scoops that 1 gallon can of beans would make for trays. Once I figured out how many scoops, I divided that by the cost of the gallon of beans, and then, of course, figured in the added cost of the ingredients to put in the pork and the beans to make it smoked baked beans." So, Danny's this comment came on the video that I posted yesterday on the 15th. That video was about how to figure out what to charge, okay? And this is exactly what I was talking about or trying to convey in the message. Danny, he probably just had a little more time to think about it than I did when I was replying. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. You have to figure out what your portions are going to be and then charge accordingly. He goes on to say, "As far as pulled pork and brisket sandwiches, I found that I could put 4 ounces of meat on a bun, which was equal to 1/4 pound of meat. So then I knew for every pound of meat, I would make it would make 4 sandwiches. If I used 4 ounces of meat per sandwich, if I sold the meat or the beans by the pound, I had vacuum bags that I guess he froze of 2 pounds. He put 2 pounds of meat or beans into each vacuum seal bag and frozen. He said, then of course you add all of your little stuff like plastic spoons, the forks, napkins, styrofoam trays, which is about 10 cents a piece." He said, "But Scott, you're right. The more you cook at one time, costs you less to cook. For example, if I cook with my 500-gallon trailer mounted rotisserie for briskets, I use between 15 and 20 splits of wood. So I figure $1 per split of wood, and then I can divide that total cost up over the total amount of the meat that was cooked at one time. I ended up finding that due to my health, it was extremely hard to do the food trailer because losing 1 lung from cancer and 5 heart bypasses that had failed and collapsed, it was just too hard." He says, "Scott may not say it to people at times, but it's a lot of work doing what Scott does. All of the times, not to mention doing the video work. So my hat's off to Scott and everybody that does videos. Scott had a lot to do with me getting into barbecue when I was down in bed after open heart surgery with 5 bypasses. So thank you, Scott." I replied to Danny, and my reply to Danny was basically, in a nutshell, those scoops and his, I won't say idea, but him talking about the scoops and totally, out the window, didn't even think about it when I was replying, talking about portion control and other things like that. I was talking about using the portion control in the cups, but because he's putting the food into the trays, it's far easier for him to use a pre-designated sized scoop. I know for sure Restaurant Depot sells those scoops because I've used them. I was in the Restaurant Depot and I was able to get, I think I have some 4-ounce scoops, and I think I also have some 6-ounce scoops, because I was wavering whether I was going to do a 4-ounce scoop or a 6-ounce scoop for the sandwiches for when I did that event at my daughter's school. And I think I decided on 6-ounce sandwiches. And one of the other things too that was great about using the scoop, it's repeatable by almost anyone. I'm gonna say that again and let this sink in. It's repeatable by almost anyone. When I was at the school, I was sent some volunteers to help, which meant that I didn't have to do all the work myself. These people don't know barbecue. These people don't know how much food I want to put on the sandwich. These people don't know any of that. So if I gave them a tool and said all you have to do is use a gloved hand in the scoop and put a level scoop onto a sandwich and pass it down to the next person to fold up and wrap up, and then put a P or a C on it for pork or chicken, that's drop dead simple. And almost anyone can do it, which means the cost of your labor goes down because you can pay someone less to help you out. It doesn't take a skilled worker to do something like that, which in hence would drive your profits up. It all goes back to, you know, basically running a business, I won't say efficiently or effectively, but those scoops and other things that are repeatable are something that not a lot of people talk about. Because I know I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about using a scoop or a ladle just like Danny talked about. And I haven't even talked about it because it's just one of those things that I found that I do, and I incorporated it into what I was doing and didn't even really give it a thought to say, oh man, hey, maybe someone else could benefit from this. Maybe I should talk about it. So here's me talking about it. Though this is not a response to a question, this is me, I won't say delving deeper, but me getting more into the conversation. And then also one of the things Danny talked about was how I helped him through a tough time when I know for sure, man, Danny's been through some stuff. He's been through some stuff. Danny has been watching my videos for at least 3, maybe possibly even 4 or 5 years. I mean, definitely been a big contributor in the comments. He's been a contributor to, you know, just contributing to the channel in general. And I want to take a moment and say thank you to those of you who have felt inspired by me. And really, it's typically the other way around. I know I almost say I pick on Danny, but I single Danny out a lot of times, and I'm like overjoyed when I hear from Danny, because I know he's told me just how important some of the videos were for him to get through a tough time. And I'm telling you guys that it's you guys who have helped me get through tough times and push through and post videos when I haven't wanted to, or when it's midnight and I'm just getting to film a video because I've had family stuff to do all day and couldn't get it done anytime sooner. And then I'm gonna get up in the morning and edit this video so you guys will have it tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll be able to do some like batch filming, and then I can kind of ease off the throttle and get some things done, aside from having to film a video like this every day at midnight and then edit it in the morning. So again, we all have to make sacrifices where we can, when we can, to do what we have to do. Barbecue is no exception. No exception. You know, I talk to Marcus, and I say I pick on Marcus, but I talk to Marcus quite regularly from Crimson Creek Barbecue. And, you know, one of the prevailing jokes he and I have is, you know, whenever he hits me up and he's got a first world problem, he's busier than he knows what to do with at times, or like he's busy, which is a good thing. And you know, the joke is basically, start a barbecue trailer, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You know, one of those insert do this thing, they said. It'll be fun, they said. No one tells you just how much work it is. And I'm not gonna be the exception to that rule. This is just one of these things you have to figure it out for yourself. And if you figure it out and you do well, or you could be just like some of these other folks who have tried and failed. But it maybe it's not necessarily a failure, but a chance to regroup and do it better. Because man, oh man, I swear barbecue is 1 step forward, 14 steps back, 3 steps forward, 29 steps back. Anybody else? How many steps forward and steps back has barbecue been for you if you tried to do this and move it from like a hobby phase or just backyard cook out to actually making a couple dollars every now and again? So yeah, it's been a long day. Thank you guys so very much as always for watching. Danny, my hats off, Danny, to you. The struggle you've been through health-wise, really happy to see you in the comments. Honestly enough, I know that, I mean, there were some dark comments you left, a couple times ago, and I really do get overjoyed when I see you in the comments. So that's why I'm taking a moment to sidestep the video responses, and I'm going to answer this, and not really answer this, but talk directly to you. Thank you, Danny, so very much. And thank you to all of those others who have commented and let me know that I've inspired you. And just like I said earlier, nope, it's not me who inspires you, it's you guys who inspired me. Anyway, thank you guys again. Before I get too sappy on video, and y'all have video evidence of that, you guys have a great rest of the day. Hopefully tomorrow, the 17th, shall pick up, and we shall be doing this just like normal, and I'll have a response. Actually, I think I have one person who asked a question last week, and then I was going through the questions today. He asked another one, so I think Asante, I think you're up, sir. So keep your eyes peeled for your video response. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you next time.